I'm going to start off this review by saying that this is my first introduction to this story. I really wanted to check out 1931's Frankenstein, 1935's Bride of Frankenstein, and to actually read Mary Shelley's novel released in 1818. I'll do it at some point, but I can't actually comment on how Frankenstein is as an adaptation. I can only go by reactions from other people who have seen these other different interpretations and have actually read the novel, which is always somewhat risky, but I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine. But yeah, I was somewhat excited for this. Guillermo del Toro is a director in which I enjoy the majority of his films. I really appreciate his style and the look he goes for visually, so I knew what I was getting in that sense. But like I said earlier, narratively, I didn't really have a clue what I was in for. In Frankenstein, the intelligent and brilliant scientist Victor Frankenstein creates a monster in which helps his obsession with creating life and outliving death. The film is a story of two halves, but is told through flashbacks. Victor's retelling in the first, Victor's monster's retelling in the second. The first explores this obsession with Victor Frankenstein creating life and wanting to create a creature of such intelligence that can outlive death. And you can see how this becomes apparent as you watch Victor grow up from a young boy into the egotistical scientist in which he is. I enjoyed this first part. There was such a great energy which was brought, allowing the film to flow somewhat nicely in aiding the ability to stay engaged and focused on Victor's story, you know, how and why he wanted to create the monster in the first place. It does feel like they rushed through parts of this, especially when he was younger, because that's where the obsession with everything came from, especially his close relationship with his mother, who we don't see for that long. I feel like they could have addressed that a little bit more. It does feel crazy to say that they rushed through parts, even though the film is 2.5 hours long and can get quite dull. Part 2 lost me quite a lot though. Now I understand the humanity brought to Frankenstein's monster, and even though watching Victor's point of view in part 1, you understand the mistreatment of him and the lack of belief Victor has grown to have, and you see this through the monster's point of view as well in part 2. Both showcase what happens when Frankenstein's monster isn't what Victor wanted the monster to be. But part 2 is where the film became fully tedious to me. It felt like it took such a vast amount of time to get to where it wanted to go that I was just completely released from the story that I was kind of engaged with in the first half. I felt like it does keep things a little consistent with the messaging, like where I said earlier, the mistreatment, the lack of belief, the humanity of Frankenstein's monster as well, and the relationships he builds, most notably with Elizabeth. Now, Guillermo del Toro loves a relationship between a human and a monster. Not surprised that this is in here. I didn't think they really explained this relationship that well though, because it's conceived that there's some sort of romantic or sexual connection there, but nothing went further with it. Oscar Isaac puts in one of his best performances for a little while. He really understood how to play that egotistical scientist with such an obsession. He is a performative scientist trying to showcase his ideas to quite a few people, like professors, but mainly William, who is Victor's brother, and Henrik, Elizabeth's uncle, who is funding all the experiments. Mia Goth is a bit underused for me. She plays both Elizabeth and Victor's mother, but I felt like she never really got the opportunity to showcase her talents. And Christoph Waltz, who played Henrik, had a couple of scenes where he needed to act, but I sort of feel the same, a little bit underused. But Jacob Elordi is for sure the standout of the film. I remember watching him in Priscilla and messaging one of my mates about how impressed I was by his acting. I didn't really expect it from him. And he puts in the best performance I've seen from him in this film. He captured the childlike vulnerability and yearn for someone to respect him and care for him with so much emotion that he was just brilliant. If we're talking Oscars in classic Guillermo del Toro fashion, he's made a beautiful film here. The production design fully immerses you into a world that del Toro is retelling, and shows the scale of the project that they've made. The tower, which is redesigned into the laboratory, was just a thing of beauty. Like, the set design was just unreal. The costumes were great too. They were glamorous and exuberant, and they feel like they fit into the time period. Most notably, Elizabeth's clothing was brilliant. Cinematography was great. There were some stunning shots, and they worked hand in hand with the production design. The makeup and hairstyling, of course, the monster looked absolutely incredible, making him look strikingly different from what we've seen previously. from clips online. Like, I've seen the "It's Alive" clip. Like I know what they look like in that film. I think all of these categories should get a nomination here. Cinematography, the one I'm a little bit unsure on, but the other one should win. Like production design, costume design, makeup, they're fully in the running to win. Now on to the big ones. I don't know. Netflix has such a strong slate. It's going to be really difficult to see what ones they're going to go for. Frankenstein could be the one that they're really going to go all guns blazing in. The public perception of it will help them decide what one they go for, because they've obviously got J. Kelly, A House of Dynamite, Train Dreams. There's a few other films that they have as well. I wouldn't nominate it in picture. I didn't love the film enough for me to do it, but I think a lot of people will love this film, and if it gets into picture, then of course it's a conversation for director and adapted screenplay, but I think adapted screenplay is sort of less on the cards, if that makes sense. And I do know a lot of people love the score as well, so maybe that's the note. Acting categories, unlikely. Very strong field this year, so acting I'd say probably unlikely, but do not be surprised if Frankenstein performs really well on nomination day. The film was a little disappointing for me, but I still enjoyed most of it enough to get quite a bit from it. I just wish the film was less dull in parts, particularly the second half. So I give Frankenstein 3.5 stars, closer to 3 than a 4. If you enjoyed the review, please like and subscribe on the channel and the socials. It would be much appreciated. And if you've seen Frankenstein, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to it? I'll see you in the next.